the two most harmful vitamins for leg weakening following 60. Feeling your legs become weaker, heavier, or sore could indicate concern. Observe that even standing for a long period, walking or ascending stairs is starting to be difficult. If so, be very careful. What I'm about to show in this video could be something you'd never guess and could help to clarify precisely why this is occurring. Eating some hazardous meals, 2 vitamins shockingly deemed necessary for health, and a combination of 2 elements sapping the strength in your legs all contribute to this problem. Sure, vitamins that everyone claims are helpful for you can really be making your muscles weaker, straining your joints, and causing your legs to be unsteady, uncomfortable, and exposed. The most terrifying aspect is, these hazards are in your daily existence. Every sip and every mouthful could be nourishing the weakness you experience. But it carries on. These 2 vitamins you might be popping right now will truly astound you. When, in fact, you're hastening muscular loss and undermining your legs, you likely purchase them at the pharmacy with the best intentions, believing you are safeguarding yourself, caring of your body, and fortifying your bones. This film will reveal the reality behind these pills and foods. You'll know what is actually causing the weariness, edema, stiffness, and pain that keeps recurring. Most importantly, you will discover what to avoid and what to alter from now to recover your power, vitality, and autonomy. Wish to maintain your leg strength for years and age healthily? Then stay with me till the end. 15. Sweets and sugary desserts. Desserts and sweets have traditionally been linked to comfort and enjoyment. After 60, though, this practice might become a quiet enemy for your leg health. Excessive refined sugar intake sets off inflammatory reactions in the body, particularly in the muscles and joints. Chronic inflammation causes the legs to be more sensitive, uncomfortable, and prone to deterioration. Furthermore, sugar is directly related to higher insulin resistance, which depletes muscular energy. Muscle weakens and grows less efficient when it lacks sufficient energy. Excess sugar also helps one acquire weight, which puts more strain on your legs. Every additional pound calls for more work from your lower body muscles and joints. Extra weight increases wear and tear, discomfort, and a sense of weakness in the lower extremities. For older people who naturally lose muscular mass with age, this is especially concerning. Sugar also increases the body's toxin generation, which aggravates inflammatory reactions even more. The more inflammation there is, the more difficult it is to maintain your legs useful and firm. Were you aware that sugar directly influences blood flow? Consumed in excess, it raises the likelihood of vascular disorders restricting lower limb blood flow. Poor circulation means the leg muscles get fewer oxygen and nutrients. This hinders tissue renewal and slows muscular recovery. A dessert's enjoyment could be too expensive for your health. Apart from metabolic consequences, sweets are deficient in necessary nutrients for muscular health, such proteins and magnesium. Put another way, you're eating empty calories that weaken the body instead of strengthening it. In old age, this kind of unbalanced diet causes muscular mass loss, one of the main adversaries of mobility. The cause could be as straightforward as a slice of pie or a piece of cake if you believe your legs are growing more weaker. What looks like an innocent indulgence could be undermining your independence and strength. Most factory-made sweets also have chemical additives, like dyes and preservatives, that aggravate inflammation. These elements disturb the natural equilibrium of the body and immediately influence the muscular system. When mixed with sugar, they create a very bad health combo. Already, a significant move is replacing these sweets with natural alternatives, as cinnamon on fruit or handmade desserts with lower sugar. Of course, you can still have a dessert, just with wiser decisions that honor your body. Your legs and your taste senses will appreciate you. 14th. Fried foods. Fries are hard to resist, but the harm they do to the body after 60 cannot be overlooked. Rich in trans and saturated fats, these foods raise inflammatory markers in the body. This inflammation directly impacts the muscles and joints, hence stiffening the legs, increasing their discomfort, and predisposing them to damage. Fried meals fat also hinders blood flow, hence complicating muscle oxygenation. Poor circulation robs the body of its capacity to heal and grow strong. Fried meals also cause blood vessel blockage, which is another problem.
Pay attention closely, because what you are listening now will help you a lot as a senior citizen for your routines and daily life.
Consumed often, these products really overwhelm the skeletal and circulatory systems. The flavor does not warrant the health harm. Have you ever noticed that after a dinner high in fried foods, your legs felt more sore and heavier? Your body is responding to the surplus of harmful fats. These foods' long digestion uses a lot of energy, thus less is left for the muscles. This diet may directly reflect in leg weariness. Furthermore, regular eating of fried meals has been associated with weight rise, which further compounds the strain on the lower extremities. Breaking it is quite difficult. Fried foods also have low nutritional density, which means they provide few vitamins, minerals, and proteins, really strengthening the muscles. A diet ruled by this kind of food creates an imbalance that encourages loss of muscular mass. Less muscle causes the legs to lose stability and rigidity. This affects your capacity to carry weight, ascend stairs, or walk securely. Avoiding fried foods is one of several straightforward actions that can help you to keep your mobility and independence. Changing fried foods for better cooking techniques helps to save your legs. 13. Though its impact on the body, particularly after 60, is far from benign, white bread is a typical breakfast and snack item. Made from refined flour, it goes through a procedure removing most of the fibers and necessary nutrients. This makes it a quickly absorbed carbohydrate that raises blood glucose levels. These spikes directly impact muscular health, particularly in the legs, hence generating weariness and weakness. Regular eating causes metabolic imbalance. White bread, low in fiber, and high in glycemic index, also increases insulin resistance by lacking fiber. This impairs the entrance of glucose into muscle cells, hence influencing the energy and strength required for daily activities. Muscle firmness in the legs is more difficult to keep the less energy they get. This can develop into muscular mass loss, something somewhat typical with aging. In this case, white bread stops being a neutral food and starts to be a cause of irritation. White bread's effects extend beyond glucose. Being a diet low in proteins and minerals, it provides no genuine help for muscle recovery. To prevent sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle, older persons require more proteins. Neglecting alternative protein sources and consuming white bread every day is a mistake that depletes the body meal by meal. This could result in unresistant, weary, unsteady legs. Apart from not feeding, white bread encourages weight increase, particularly when paired with butter, cheeses, or desserts. Excess weight puts pressure on the legs, already inherently more fragile in later ages. Pain, inflammation, and an increased risk of injury follow. White bread limits mobility rather than supporting. Every bite could appear innocuous, but the total of bad eating practices is what causes the most harm. Fortunately, there are many more nutritional and better substitutes. Whole grain breads, naturally fermented or manufactured with grains like oats, flaxseed, and rye, provide beneficial fibers and nutrients. They indirectly enhance muscles, promote digestion, and aid to normalize blood sugar. Combined with proteins and healthy fats, such as eggs or avocado, they create balanced meals. You need not give up bread, simply select better. Still in this movie, you will find the 2 worst vitamins that impair your legs. 12th. With age, especially when we consider muscle and joint health of the legs, consuming alcoholic drinks is even more dangerous. Beyond 60, the body becomes less efficient in metabolizing alcohol, hence increasing its detrimental consequences. Among the key results is the challenge in absorbing vital minerals, including calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. Lacking these components, the muscles weaken and the bones get brittle, hence heightening the likelihood of fractures and falls. Alcohol also directly hinders muscle repair. This implies that following any physical exertion, the body needs more time to restore the tissues, hence causing extended pain, weariness, and an increased chance of damage. The drink also causes dehydration, which impairs muscular flexibility and promotes leg unpleasant cramps. Furthermore, alcohol impairs liver function, which is connected to the synthesis of compounds vital for tissue health. The link between drinking and weight increase is also quite significant. Alcoholic drinks are very calorie-rich and encourage belly fat formation even in contemporary quantities. This extra weight strains the legs and calls for more from the joints, hence impairing the ability to move. Adding this to the natural decrease of muscle mass with aging can have catastrophic effects on mobility and quality of life. Have you observed that your body wakes up more exhausted and aching after a night of drinking? That's the reflection of the strain alcohol puts on the muscles and joints. Regular use raises the body's inflammatory levels, which aggravates discomfort and lowers the desire for physical activity. Over time, this practice greatly undermines the body's capacity to remain active and healthy. And shortly, I'm going to disclose which 2 vitamins could weaken your legs. 11. Many people's routines include processed meats for their convenience, yet they mask grave leg health hazards, particularly in old age. High in sodium and chemical preservatives, foods such as bacon, ham, and sausages encourage chronic inflammation throughout the body. This kind of inflammation impacts the joints and causes ongoing discomfort in the leg muscles, ankles, and knees. These foods may be directly related to the stiffness people experience upon awakening. Processed meats have another drawback: their high saturated fat content. This fat decreases muscular blood flow, raises negative cholesterol levels, and compromises circulation. Poor irrigation deprives the leg muscles of nutrition and oxygen, hence impairing their maintenance and regeneration. The outcome is a gradual weakening of the lower extremities, and eventually, this decline in power restricts basic daily tasks. Furthermore, these meals help to accumulate toxins in the body, stressing the liver and kidneys. These organs are vital in filtering out chemicals that, when collected, lead to muscular weariness. Preservatives in processed meats have also been shown to affect glucose metabolism, hence lowering the muscle energy available. Once more, the effect is experienced straight in the legs as ongoing feelings of weariness and heaviness. While elderly people sometimes select these items for their ease, dietary attention should be doubled exactly in this stage of life. When it comes to sacrificing quality of life, the convenience might be expensive. Choosing healthy proteins, such as eggs, chicken, fish, and lean cuts of beef, is a key first step in maintaining muscular strength and health. All the difference comes from easy replacements. Substitute avocado or olive oil for bacon, cooked eggs for sausage, and shredded chicken breast for ham. The body starts to adjust with these modifications. The legs become lighter and more alive. Between taste and freedom, between pleasure and lifespan, it's a reasonable deal. Though their impact on the body, particularly after 60, is concerning, instant noodles would seem to be the ideal answer for people seeking convenience. Largely composed of refined flour and chemical additives, providing relatively little nutritional value, this fast meal is the outcome? A calorie-rich meal low in fiber, proteins, and micronutrients, necessary components for preserving muscular mass. Over time, this kind of diet directly causes leg and mobility deterioration. Among the main drawbacks of quick noodles is their very high salt level. A single serving could provide you more than half of the daily advised intake of this mineral. Too much sodium encourages fluid retention, which makes the legs swollen and painful. Furthermore, it increases blood pressure, which hinders sufficient blood flow to the muscles. Poor circulation also causes muscle tissue to become undernourished, weak, and slower to recover from activity. The chemical additives in the flavors that accompany the noodles are another cause for worry. Often connected to chronic inflammatory processes are preservatives, colors, and monosodium glutamate. Even when minor, these inflammations impair joint function and speed muscle deterioration. Eventually, this results in discomfort, stiffness, and mobility restrictions being more frequent in the daily life of those who eat this kind of food. The effect on metabolism is really important as well. Lack of fibers raises the glycemic index of the noodles, which in turn raises blood sugar levels. Glycemic instability affects insulin activity, hence preventing muscles from effectively using energy. Muscles grow weak and tired quickly when they lack effective energy intake. Poor diet can turn a simple stroll to the store into a grueling struggle. 9. While they conceal components that seriously harm leg health, particularly in the mature period, industrially made cakes smell like youth and taste like joy. Filled with processed sugar, hydrogenated fat, and synthetic preservatives that upset metabolism and irritate the body, these items are particularly sugar disturbs insulin function and encourages the buildup of body fat. This not only causes overweight, but also sets a metabolic setting bad for preserving muscular strength. The presence of trans fats, which are utilized to improve taste and shelf life, is another important aspect of these cakes. These fats lower good cholesterol and raise bad cholesterol, hence compromising blood flow. Poor blood circulation deprives the leg muscles of required nutrients and causes them to deteriorate. Over the long run, this could cause loss of lean mass, joint stiffness, and possibly mobility problems. Eating industrially made cakes on a regular basis is also connected to persistent inflammation, one of the key causes of muscular weakness and joint discomfort. Emulsifiers, stabilizers, and dyes, among other ingredients, influence the immune system and cause inflammatory reactions mostly impacting the leg joints. More discomfort, less mobility, and a cycle of sedentarism that drives muscle loss are the outcomes. Though delicious, these cakes lack high nutritional density. That is to say, while lacking necessary nutrients like proteins, calcium, and magnesium, so vital for muscle and bone health, they are heavy in calories. Eating this kind of food often is like trying to power your body with tainted gasoline. In this situation, your muscles are the engine, and it does not react the same way. Rather, it exhibits failures, weariness, and slowness. Often, the convenience of eating meals drives us to unthinking decisions. Making homemade cakes using whole flours, fruits, and natural oils can be just as practical as purchasing a ready-made product, however. The distinction is in the effect this choice will have on your body in the medium and long run. Your muscles will appreciate additional firmness, attitude, and vigor as you re-educate your palate. 8. Though they look convenient and delicious, ultra-processed cheeses like spreads, processed slices, and melted cheeses mask grave risks for people wanting maintain leg strength after 60. High in sodium and saturated fat, these meals affect the muscular and vascular system twice. Sodium promotes fluid retention and increases blood pressure. Saturated fat undermines the flexibility of blood vessels, therefore impairing circulation. These legs get more bloated, uncomfortable, and heavy as a result of this mix. Furthermore, ultra-processed cheeses frequently include preservatives and phosphates, among other ingredients that change the mineral balance of the body. Two minerals vital for muscular contraction and bone health, calcium and magnesium, are directly affected by this. Incorrect absorption of these minerals causes the body to show signs of muscular weariness, joint discomfort, and even nighttime cramps. Being huge and much used, the leg muscles are the first to show warning signals. Another significant aspect is that these cheeses lack beneficial grade proteins. Unlike artisanal cheeses, which better preserve their nutritional profile, the ultra-processed ones undergo industrial methods that lower their nutritional density. This indicates that although you are consuming calories, the body is not getting the amino acids required to sustain muscular mass. Losing muscle is among the key causes of functional decline and dependency as one ages. Have you ever observed that, following a meal high in processed foods, the body feels heavier and less eager? This is genuine and results from the demineralizing and inflammatory action of these items. Over time, the absence of necessary nutrients leads to bone weakness and a decline in muscular performance. Short walks take more effort than they should, and the steps that appear easy become a barrier. Everything can be connected to the kind of cheese that goes on your toast. A good way to maintain health is to replace these items with fresher, less processed cheeses, such as ricotta, cottage, or mayonnaise cheese. And remember, we're approaching the most significant discovery of this film. Still to come are the 2 worst vitamins for your legs. 7th, though they pose a great danger to leg health after 60, industrial ice creams are among the most popular dishes on hot days or as a dessert. These items are very caloric and inflammatory since they contain saturated fats with significant levels of refined sugar. This kind of diet causes increases in blood sugar, then rapid drops that endanger the muscular energy stability. This instability makes the legs weak, heavy, and more susceptible to exhaustion. Ice creams, particularly those of poor quality, contain saturated fat that harms the cardiovascular system. Oxygenated blood has trouble reaching the body's extremities, including the legs. The result is a feeling of numbness, tingling, and even ongoing cramps. Over the long term, this circulation deficit causes muscular weakening, loss of mobility, and a higher fall risk. All this time we think we are only treating ourselves. Furthermore, industrial ice creams have artificial colors, emulsifiers, and thickeners that aggravate bodily inflammation. One of the key causes of joint and muscle tissue damage is this quiet inflammation. The ongoing use of these items encourages digestive and hormonal abnormalities that directly influence the absorption of vital nutrients for muscle development. Lacking nutrition, the body cannot stay stable and strong over time. Another important factor is that these meals provide no genuine nutritional value. Rich in empty calories, they neither build muscles, mend tissues, or feed joints. This means that even while consuming something pleasant, the feeling of weariness stays and could possibly get stronger. The impact on the legs is clear: less firmness, more everyday pain, and less tolerance to physical activity. Every mouthful robs the body of the opportunity to fortify itself. 6. Whether as a dessert or a pleasure, in the middle of the day, milk chocolates are part of many people's routines. But their regular use can have a more serious effect than it first appears, particularly on the legs of persons over 60. High in sugar and saturated fat, these chocolates promote inflammatory mechanisms directly influencing joints and muscles. High glucose and poor fat together create metabolic overload, which promotes the decline of muscular power. Low cocoa content in milk chocolate is another issue, as it is exactly where the good antioxidants are found. Most commercial versions leave a highly processed product loaded with preservatives and artificial sweeteners. These chemicals not only damage the liver and pancreas, but also disrupt the absorption of vital nutrients for muscular health. The result: exhausted legs without vigor are more susceptible to aches and stiffness. The simple sugars in these chocolates are rapidly absorbed, causing insulin surges that rob muscular energy. For people already finding it difficult to keep lean mass, this volatility is catastrophic. Furthermore, milk chocolate is sometimes linked to stomach weight growth, which aggravates the strain on the lower extremities. This continual overload promotes the wear and tear of the joints of the knees, hips, and ankles. Healthy replacements, however, let happy times still be had. High cocoa chocolates provide antioxidants and flavonoids that help circulation and muscles. When eaten in moderation, these items can even work with vascular health. Always driven by awareness and balance, the key is in selection and amount. 5. Though very convenient, canned foods have a number of ingredients that may greatly endanger the health of the legs in old age. Most of these items include chemical preservatives, such sodium benzoate and nitrite, as well as colors, salt, and other chemicals. These substances are very inflammatory and harm muscle and vascular health. Consumed often, they impede the muscle regeneration process and make it impossible for muscles to oxygenate. Furthermore, the extra salt in canned goods promotes fluid retention, one of the main reasons for a feeling of heavy and uncomfortable legs. This retention not only causes pain, but may also suggest inadequate circulation and tissue inflammation. In those with hypertension, frequent after 60, the issue gets worse as the additional salt stresses the cardiovascular system and compromises the supply of vital nutrients to the muscles. The decline in nutritional quality is another concerning aspect of canned foods. Even canned meats and veggies go through procedures that strip most of their inherent nutrients. What is left is a diet low in minerals and vitamins, but high in poisons the body has to fight to get rid of. This metabolic stress depletes energy and compromises muscular performance. Your food may be more to blame for the ongoing weariness and leg weakness than you believe. Furthermore, though in tiny quantities, the aluminum found in certain cans can build up in the body over time. There are signs that the neurological system and muscular function may be harmed by regular eating of metal container-stored meals. This raises the possibility of falls, imbalances, and gradual weakening. a risk that just doesn't pay off given the other options on the market. For people who wish to maintain mobility, an essential first step is avoiding canned items and choosing fresh, frozen, or naturally preserved alternatives. Cooking with genuine ingredients, free of synthetic additives, offers nearly instant advantages to well-being. It's also a choice that safeguards your autonomy and quality of life as time goes on. If you believe that only industrialized meals damage your legs, realize that there is yet more to be discovered. Soon, we shall discuss the two most hazardous vitamins for muscular health. The reality of these supplements could shock you. 4. Many people's snacks include filled cookies and processed snacks. However, after 60, their consumption can hasten leg strength loss. These foods are real aggressors to the body, being full of artificial substances, including dyes, flavorings, preservatives, and stabilizers. They not only aggravate the body, but also stress vital organs like the liver and kidneys, directly disrupting circulation and the absorption of necessary nutrients for the musculature. These items are low in minerals, proteins, fiber, and high in calories. Put another way, they provide a lot of calories and very little nourishment. For the elderly, this is quite harmful since the body no longer keeps nutrients as it did in youth. A richer, more functional diet is needed to offset the normal loss of muscle mass brought on by aging. Eating foods high in sugar, hydrogenated fat, and salt only hastens this decline. Trans fats, or the kind of fat used in these goods, is another significant issue. One of the key inflammatory factors in modern diet is this kind of synthetic fat. They not only block arteries, but also hinder the flow of oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to the muscles. Poor irrigation of the leg muscles results in discomfort, weariness, and sometimes a feeling of unsteady legs. Though gradually, the fragility is imposed quietly. Furthermore, too much sodium in these meals causes fluid retention, which makes the lower limb edema worse. Swollen legs are obvious indicators of a problem. Poor diet mixed with compromised circulation sets just the right conditions for the growth of varicose veins, chronic aches, and a feeling of weightiness while walking. All of this could come from apparently innocuous appetizers. These snacks and cookies also cause increases in glucose and quick drops thereafter, therefore weakening the body and creating a never-ending hunger for more food. This negative cycle decreases muscular energy and promotes weight growth. Your capacity to keep strong, healthy, and functional legs in daily life diminishes the more you rely on this kind of product. Replacing natural bars already totally alters this situation. 3. From ready-made seasonings to quick noodles, passing through meat broths, packet soups, and numerous frozen ready meals, industrialized foods abound with monosodium glutamate. Though its effects on the human body go far beyond taste, this addition is meant to improve the flavor of foods. For people above 60, regular intake of monosodium can be rather harmful, particularly to the leg muscles. Monosodium affects vital neurotransmitters controlling muscular contraction by means of the neurological system. Those more susceptible to this chemical may suffer muscle aches, headaches, tinglings, and overall weariness. When these impacts show in the legs, they produce feelings of weight, stiffness, and sometimes slight tremors. As the body gets increasingly susceptible to excitotoxic chemicals, which harm neurons, the issue gets worse with age. Furthermore, monosodium glutamate causes persistent bodily inflammation. Affecting joints, muscles, and blood vessels, this inflammation compromises muscular function and circulation in the extremities. Poorly oxygenated legs raise the likelihood of muscular weakness, cramping, and mobility loss considerably. Many foods with monosodium are also somewhat high in sodium, which aggravates fluid retention and leg edema. This additive also affects energy metabolism, hence altering muscular glucose consumption. This lowers the efficacy of the muscle in transforming energy into strength, hence compromising the legs even in basic activities like stair climbing or walking short distances. Over the long run, this diet might cause muscular mass loss and reliance on others to carry out daily tasks. Many people are unaware of their regular monosodium intake. Product labels hide it under several titles, including flavor enhancer, yeast extract, hydrolyzed protein, and other technical phrases that obscure its actual effect. So the goal is to choose natural flavors like fresh herbs, garlic, onion, lemon, and olive oil over ultra-processed foods and artificial seasonings. Now we will expose the two worst vitamins that, if taken in excess, could compromise your leg strength. Second, excess vitamin A. Vitamin A is necessary for several bodily processes, including eyesight, immunity, and skin integrity. But too much vitamin A, particularly from supplements, can be harmful and lead to a number of negative consequences, including on the leg muscles. Beyond 60, the body struggles more to metabolize and excrete too much of this vitamin, raising the likelihood of liver and joint buildup. Muscle discomfort, particularly in the legs and back, is among the most prevalent signs of hypervitaminosis A. Though it comes from too much vitamin, which inflames the muscular tissues, this discomfort might be confused with joint or spinal difficulties. Apart from discomfort, evident indicators that nutritional balance has been disturbed are reports of muscular weakness, trouble ascending stairs, walking, or rising from a prolonged sitting. Too much vitamin A also hinders the absorption of other vital minerals, including magnesium and calcium. Lacking these minerals, the muscles cannot contract and relax correctly, hence promoting the development of weariness, spasms, and cramps in the legs. Furthermore, vitamin A buildup in the liver could impair energy generation, hence compromising muscular function. The result is a gradual decline in mobility and strength. Excess vitamin A has another adverse effect: bone demineralization. Especially in the legs and hips, areas much used in daily life, this compromises the bones and raises the likelihood of fractures. In those with osteopenia or osteoporosis, the impact is far more harmful. Vitamin A supplements should thus be used only under medical guidance and always in regulated amounts. One of the key drivers of these concealed issues is self-medication. Naturally occurring in foods such liver, egg yolk, whole milk, carrot, and pumpkin, vitamin A is a balanced diet eliminates the need for supplements. Exaggeration, particularly in enriched goods or potent supplements, starts the risk. Thus, taking into account all sources, including multivitamins, total intake must be watched closely. First, often linked to bone health and the correct immune system operation, excess vitamin D is especially advised for the aged. But few people realize that too much of it may have major negative effects, even on the legs. Usually from excessive supplementation, hypervitaminosis D results from a buildup of this vitamin in the body. Muscle discomfort is one of the key signs of this imbalance. It is accompanied by weakening and motor coordination loss. Unlike other vitamins the body quickly discards, vitamin D is fat-soluble and so stores in adipose tissues. Excess vitamin D can lead to higher blood calcium levels, sometimes called hypercalcemia. This results in leg stiffness, muscle burning, cramps, joint discomfort, and other related symptoms. Hypercalcemia immediately impacts the muscles and nerves, hence compromising the electrical impulses directing body motions. 2. Vitamin D can also lead to unnecessary calcification of soft tissues, including muscles and tendons. This implies that places like the knees, calves, and thighs might get stiffer, less flexible, and uncomfortable under effort. What ought to be a protective chemical becomes one of wear and restriction. Elderly adults who take high amounts of vitamin D without medical supervision have a higher risk of experiencing these problems. Another troubling issue is that large doses of vitamin D can harm the kidneys in charge of mineral balance in the blood. Poor filtration and substance retention show the renal effect, which aggravates leg edema, muscular discomfort, and a feeling of weakness. This sets off a feedback loop. More vitamin D, more calcium, less kidney function, more muscle difficulties. Vitamin D supplementation should always be tailored, depending on lab tests and medical advice. Hence, it is crucial to stress this. Many individuals believe they are good for the body and so consume huge amounts on their own. Excess can be just as dangerous as lack, and with regard to the legs, the result can be the loss of movement and independence.